Hello and welcome to the next part of Danganronpa Another. Last time, a lot of stuff happened. We were introduced to Yamato Kisaragi, and the fifth floor opened up, and all the dead bodies are here. And you can just take them out.
You
And
can
they're,
just
yeah,
open the box and there's your dead friends.
and they're not being cooled.
Nope. So they're just, decomposing in those boxes.
Yep,
So fucked up.
yes.
Monokuma's so fucked up.
And we are still in safe jail.
hmm
Collection room. There's a small notebook on the desk. There was a notebook full of various articles clipped from the newspaper. Ah. Let's see. What article is this? Huh? Looks like riots and apocalypse to me.
Sure does.
Seeing the clipped articles, I couldn't hide my surprise. In the photos in the newspaper article, a gigantic Monokuma, mob dressed with Monokuma clothes, were publicly revealed. What's with these fishy contents? The world's most biggest desperate event in human history? According to the article, the world's situation went in jeopardy due to a sudden simultaneous terrorist attack all over the world. It was a crisis that should have never happened again in history.
Rina, what's wrong? You look surprised.
Akane, look at this.
What? A newspaper? I don't really read the news that much.
God mood.
What is this? Monokuma?
It seems to be called the most desperate event in human history. Akane, do you know?
There's nothing. This absurd thing. No matter how much I read the article, if this had happened, it would have been an uproar on the news or the internet.
And the date this event is said to have occurred is in the future?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
The future? What else does it say?
It's literally the future. We were kidnapped at the entrance ceremony, so we had to remain here, and it must have passed roughly 2 weeks until today. Today, written in the newspaper, is 3 months from today.
So, I don't think that's a future.
Yep,
I think we've been missing for a long time.
yep.
Or we're missing that much memory.
Really? How did this happen? Obviously, it was because of the school's circumstances. So, we entered a little earlier than the normal semester, right?
You did? Yeah, we didn't pay much attention to it because they mentioned it in the main class, which is not a preparatory department. It's a free atmosphere rather than a standard class schedule. We really didn't think about it much. Thinking about it, the date written in this paper is almost as close to the start of the normal semester.
Well, I don't know what it means, but it doesn't make sense that a newspaper is from the future. Date. The contents of the newspaper are also unconventional, and the whole Monokuma aspect of it could be some fabrication, clearly.
Yeah, I think so too. But maybe something strange happened here.
And for now, let's talk about this with Ray later. Ray must know more things than we do, so she might be able to clear this up or something.
Okay, then this about the notebook.
I'll have it. I can hand it to Ray later, okay?
The world's worst desperate event in human history. Why do I get this ominous feeling? Well, well. Also, there's a PC here.
Yeah.
Akane, you're here. Are you investigating?
Yes, but
But?
look at this.
Hi, Kisaragi.
Yep. What
So
is
that's
this?
4 clues.
Yep. What is this? Yamato Kisaragi, the third president of the Kisaragi Foundation. Huh? It's not the same name or something like that, right? However you look, the Kisaragi we met is a former student, right? That's true, it's written as Kisaragi Foundation that Mikado mentioned first.
I thought this was the principal's office at first. But when I looked closely, it said that it was the collection office.
That is very, very weird. Collection office?
I'm trying to wonder in what context is collection being.
Principal's office, or if it is the headmaster's office, it's already on the 4th floor. More than that, alternatively this room is...
Floor is all bloody and in a terrible condition. It's a strange feeling. It feels like only the 5th floor is independent from Hope's Peak Academy.
Or in comparison to this floor and the floors below it, why does this floor feel the oldest? Odd.
Well, the other floors could have been remade. It's not that hard to, like, put a new paint on, remodel rooms. It turns out that Mikado, who I met a while ago, said the same thing. The 5th floor is very different from all the previous floors.
The fact that Kisaragi's picture is hanging in here seems like an important clue that shouldn't be overlooked.
I agree with you there. Let's keep it in mind and continue investigating other places. There seems to be a lot of information on the 5th floor.
It's a bit difficult because of the smell of blood. It doesn't go away, but I'll try my best.
Alright, what other names do we have here? Here is Hanzo. Huh? Ah. Thank you, Hanzo.
No coin.
And the one before him, who was it?
I wonder if it's translated.
Ah, Yusaku.
Yusaku. Huh.
Alright. Can we check anything? Nope.
I don't know.
Ah. Alrighty then. But we are still in safe jail.
Wonder if after we trigger whatever Mikaru's doing, if it'll stop.
Mikado, trying to investigate this room? Maeda, no. I would like to, but it's impossible. This room is locked. A lock? Are you saying you can't open it? Just shush and come here. Do you see it? There's a password input panel. Monokuma?
Password, not a normal lock?
Okay,
Yeah, so this is Yuki. But
yeah.
Monokuma does come in soon. Which is why I
like-
was like, huh?
Where the fuck does Monokuma come here from? Yeah. A password? Not a normal lock? Moreover, Monokuma said there was nothing locked on the 5th floor.
not it. The record room has an auto-lock function, so I can't open it as I'd like to.
Monokuma. Huh? Is it important enough that it needs an outer lock?
Oh, wait, it's not like that.
What on earth happened on the 5th floor anyway? Why the hell is it like this?
Isn't it your job to figure that out? I'm glad you like it.
Oh my, that's a stretch, bud.
This place was specifically left as it was at that time.
As it was at the time.
I ran my mouth too much. I don't know, so figure it out yourself. Anyway, the door to the rec room will open once you enter the password. Got it? Oh, and one more thing. For the record, only one person can go in. If someone is already inside, it won't open even if you enter the password correctly.
That's curious.
That's also very specific information.
Yes. Something that would definitely come back later.
Yeah.
What? Why does such a pain in the ass system exist?
The recording room itself is a single room. I can't do anything with this because it checks the heart rate of the person inside and restricts access.
Huh.
That is also super specific.
Sounds like we're gonna have a person who's not gonna have a heart rate in this room in the future.
Yep, seems that way.
Then what if one then more person enter at the same time?
That's impossible too! The sensor at the entrance will activate, and secondary bulkhead doors will block the entry.
Jesus, what the heck is in this room?
Yeah, that's my question.
Well, if you guys don't know the password. So this will be useless information anyway.
Alright, bye, bitch.
Well, of course. Maeda, you don't know the password either. It doesn't matter. Even if it was, and specifically the rec room, there are still interesting clues in the other rooms as well. Let's continue the investigation by being open-minded. Once the investigation is over, I'll call you, so you better do a good investigation report. Yeah, it should be fine. By the way, Mikado, you are often disgusted at gatherings and reporting investigations. It's rather funny when you asked to report our investigation. Seeing that you won't stop talking means that you don't want to investigate. Okay, sure, let's not do it. I was joking, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I was also joking too. Yuki's getting played.
He is getting played by the queen herself.
Sorry, go ahead and investigate. Seriously, Mikado has no openings. I just got a reverse beating. But in the past she would have been angry. I guess taking a joke with a joke is a little better. I think I have looked around all the newly opened places. I decided to move to the dormitory. Am I out of safe jail?
At a safe jail?
Well, the text box still ain't back.
Please!
After roughly completing the investigation of the newly opened places, we decided to gather at the dining hall as usual to report on the investigation according to Mikado's proposal. Now, let me hear what everyone has investigated.
This is the first time a report is being conducted by only 4 people. There are only 4 of us in this giant room.
It can't be helped. Kinja and Kurokawa are unconscious. And Kisaragi is off topic.
Hey, but is it really necessary to report on the investigation in here? That is, well... The eyes and ears are open.
Arcana glanced at the surveillance camera and blurted out her words. I think I know what she wants to say. It would only mean that our report of the investigation could be comfortably be held in Mikado's room, which is not affected by surveillance cameras. No, you guys have been doing reports in the dining hall so far, haven't you? Then you better do what you've been doing. And I said this, didn't I? You can't stay in that place for long. I said I'll call when we really need it. Until then, do as usual. Although, I'll praise you for not saying anything there without thinking. Honestly, you guys were dubious about your lightness in your words, but now you're doing very good. Praise!
Ah, yes, thanks! Wow, I was praised by Ray! You look like a real teacher!
She's not just a real teacher, though, right? An ultimate level professor, too.
Please don't make the same sounds as Maeda. Anyway, let's begin the investigation report. As you know, we've investigated it. The 5th floor was uniquely different, even within the different atmosphere of the school.
Yeah, the first thing I discovered was the terrible blood stain spreading across.
Please never use red again without a text box.
Please fucking God, I'm dying. The 5th floor in the signs of destruction.
I can't even guess what happened in there. I don't think the corridor was originally like that.
Something like a terrorist attack happening at Hope's Peak? Because when the 2nd floor was opened, there was a notice in the library that the doors of Hope's Peak would be closed.
If there was that, then the serious problem mentioned in the notice is what was left on the 5th floor?
Wait! That doesn't make any sense. When we entered Hope's Peak Academy, there was no notice that Hope's Peak was closing, and the 5th floor should have been fine.
Actually, I have a guess about the problem. But I won't tell you about it here, so I'll call you later. For now, let's skip this and start with something else.
Oh, well, the rooms on the 5th floor were...
The Paler, collection room, record room, and a laboratory. There were 4 rooms in total.
I checked the parlor room, like the kitchen in the dormitory. There were some cooking utensils, like a gas stove or kitchen knives, so it seems possible to cook in there. Yeah, that's right. It's basically... Yeah, parlors are weird. I don't understand them. Of course, the whole room is covered in blood, so no one would want to cook in a place like that.
I examined the collection room, like Otori said. It was bloody in there. Well, there was something. There was a picture of him.
Him? The 3rd president of the Kisaragi Foundation, Yamato Kisaragi. The picture of Kisaragi was hung in the frame of the wall like that. Is that so?
That's not all. Next to it were the pictures of people named Yusaku Kisaragi and Hanzo Kisaragi, saying they were the 1st and 2nd representatives.
Kisaragi Hanzo? Isn't that the owner of the graduation album we found?
Yes, the 1st representative Yusaku was also... It's clear that there's something related to the Kisaragi Foundation and Hope's Peak Academy. No, wait, Yamato Kisaragi was the 3rd representative? The Kisaragi Foundation couldn't change their representatives so quickly. What time frame would this be? It would have been Kisaragi Hanzo at the day of the entrance ceremony. No, this can't be it either.
Ray, what's wrong?
Never mind, so what else?
Other than that, in the collection room,
Arcana, there were those, the newspaper clippings.
oh, that's right. Guys, there was something very suspicious, but we had a clue that seemed promising. Look at this!
What is this? Look at the contents of it. Looks like a notebook someone cut out and scrapped the newspaper articles.
Eh? What is this? Monokuma?
The worst desperate event in human history. What kind of joke is this?
We don't know either. It was on the desk of the collection room.
As it's written here, it seems that there's been an exponential increase in mobs around the entire world, and they were rioting in each country. Don't be ridiculous. This would have reached the army if that were the case. Where were they?
If you look at this paragraph, there's been a reactionary molecule or key people among the mob that's responsible for the events of the disaster. So the response team in the event were not under any control due to the reactionary molecules that have been strained by the mobs.
Teria, what the fuck are you saying?
I think he's saying, like, the people who would have protected them from stuff like that were also a part of the mob.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense, and that does sound like what he was saying. Thanks, because I was like, buddy, what the fuck are you on?
It was hard to filter.
I was just like, Terry, my guy, what are you saying? This is...
The epicenter of this riot is called Hope's Peak Academy. Stupid.
But I didn't know about such an event. We don't, right? I mean, this massive terror cannot happen in a few weeks like we are.
That's true. Maybe it was Monokuma's manipulation. Honestly, it doesn't even seem real. That a giant Monokuma destroys a building, it's not even a science fiction movie.
It's also too absurd. But it's not that there's only the possibility of manipulation. According to this newspaper, the worst desperate event in human history of mankind has occurred in the future. In the future? It must have been around 2 weeks since we were here, the entrance ceremony. But even calculating from that time, there's still a few months left until the date written in the newspaper.
Then what is it? It's not like the newspaper flew in from the future in a time machine.
I also heard Maida's words and thought this could only be a manipulation. But I don't know why you would make such an elaborate operation. If you think about it, it's obvious that all the videos of the first motive to be manipulated. So there's nothing to be surprised about now, right?
We've lost a lot of memories, and we've been trapped for a long time, is what I'm gathering.
Yep, and only Mikaru really believes it.
Yeah, she's probably the one who's putting those pieces together and being like, oh fuck.
Future, 5th floor, Hope's Peak Academy, 3rd generation representative. As expected, I'm convinced at this point. Mikaru, what's wrong? No, I'll tell you later. Give me that notebook, I'll handle it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for now, put all suspicious things on hold. What's next? Did you find anything else?
Maybe it's for the best, but Mikaru, aren't you overlining too roughly? Of course, I think it's a manipulation, but I think we should put some thought into it more. Buddy, she wants to talk about it off camera.
Yes. Stare
She's
down.
like, she gives him the look like, if you don't understand, this look means shut the fuck up. Then I don't know what to tell you.
Mikado stared at Teria without saying anything and raised her head towards the camera.
Yeah, although it's better to leave the complicated things aside. Let's continue the investigation report. Man's literally forgot he was being recorded.
Yep.
Well, I mainly investigated the collection room in the hallway.
There was a place called the record room. What's going on there?
Record room. I couldn't enter it. The door is locked with a password input device. So if you don't know the password, the door won't open.
That sounds very important.
Then what about the lab? Did anyone search the lab?
Oh no.
Mikado looks like she did.
I think Mikaru did get a chance to see it. And yeah, okay, these two know. Fuck.
The silence of horror.
Just like, I am disturbed and do not want to talk about this.
What? Ray? Maida? You two went silent all of a sudden.
Don't be alarmed and listen. It's something we learned while searching the lab. There were 16 capsules inside the lab. In those capsules were the bodies of the people who have died so far inside.
What? Uh-huh. There's no way I heard that right.
Are you deaf? It's bodies. Of the 15 of us, there are 16 capsules, including Yamato Kisaragi's, and the dead ones have their bodies stored inside them.
Surely this is just nonsense. A real corpse?
I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Monokuma took out Maki's body and showed it to me.
That's so horrible. How can you do that to humans?
Yeah, I'll admit, that's twisted. Well, when was Monokuma not twisted anyway? Anyways, in the case of the people who are still alive, a green light is on the capsule.
That means if we die in the future, we'll be put in that capsule?
Yeah.
That's crazy! I can't forgive him for harassing people who have already died!
Yes, it's better if you got more fighting spirit to rise further and inspire more into looking for more clues.
See, this is the direction I thought they were gonna go with this. Where, like, it's a weird sort of morale boost.
The weirdest morale boost.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the lab had nothing else to be discovered, except that insane sight.
Then, that's everything from the 5th floor compared to the previous one? I guess the progress was somewhat better.
There's another door right at the end of the 5th floor, but that was also locked.
No, but isn't that weird? The 5th floor was mentioned to be wide open by Monokuma. But there are 2 places locked.
It's wrong to believe what he says in the first place. Looking at your priorities right now, you don't know anything about the library either.
Suddenly the library came up.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, the back room.
Oh, that's right. There was a locked door behind the library, which was also open. Yes, I told Maeda. It's the way you heard it. The inside of that door was a small, solitary room, similar to the 5th floor. Floor pots are broken. Even if there's a broken bookshelf, all the books are gone or damaged. But I found something interesting inside it.
Interesting?
It was only half torn, but it was a diary written by someone, like a small notebook. Maida, don't interrupt my words. Queen wants to...
No, I'm telling them.
Yes, yes, she wants the spotlight. Sorry. Anyway, the contents of the diary are like this. We barely arrived here for the time being. Well, also this diary was still here. Well, there are only a few who come here now. A day has passed, everyone can hide their anxiety, but they can't help it. We can't get out of this place. In the worst case, we could live here forever. But it would be better then. Quite a bit of time has passed. Now the mood is somewhat calming, however, I feel an unknown anxiety. Is this really it? The anxiety that I felt inside was getting bigger and bigger. I don't want to believe it, but if there's a class among us, from the moment we entered, then we're finished. The suspects are them, they are suspicious. That's what it said.
Was that weird? I don't even know what they're talking about.
It's no wonder that you don't understand, because you're an idiot with no salvation. Some of the letters are blurred out, and the back part is also torn, but this alone gives you a great clue, doesn't it?
Who?
That we might live here our whole lives, that we can't get out. Doesn't it feel similar to our situation? Well, there's that too, but I'm not sure about the person who wrote it was in the same position like us. But it's a bit different from us when they say we barely arrived. And it wasn't written that long ago because of the dust of the paper and the dry ink. I mean, maybe a little different, but it was written by a person in this building. Now then, I'll ask at this point, if there's a person who wrote this article, out of the 16 of us, including Yamamoto Kisaragi, who would it be?
Huh? Well, wouldn't it be possible to find out by doing a handwriting survey?
Yeah.
Oh, like a handwriting comparison.
But that method won't work with our dead friends, and we already know the person who wrote in this diaries are the current people alive. No, the handwriting check is bullshit. But Maida's right, the person who wrote this article is one of the currently alive people.
Huh? How can you be so sure?
It's a guess, but from the nuances of the first paragraph, the author was not the first person to arrive here. But we were the ones to attend Hopspeak Academy for the first time. Except for one person, the one who was unidentified and sure enough to hang a photo in this building.
So she thinks Yamato wrote it.
Yeah. You don't mean Kisaragi? It is most likely that guy, or Mikako Kurokawa.
Why Mikako?
In here. That's all I can tell you in this place right now, other than that there were no new other clues. Mikado quickly noticed the surveillance cameras and hurriedly terminated her speech.
Right. But we're in trouble. We found out very little.
No, we didn't have a clue before, but we have found a lot. Huge ones, in fact, too.
Really? That's Ray-chan for you.
Well, this is also a fact that I realized after investigating with you guys. In that aspect, you have my gratitude. Thank you.
Love the sprite.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, wife, for existing.
Oh, I love her.
She still has the habit of just fucking off.
Yeah, I know. I love her.
Mikado, where are you going so suddenly? What about the investigation report? What is it? Are we done reporting? This is all I can tell you in this place right now. I'll call you later, so you do your usual stuff.
She's just like, I'm fucking off. Bye.
Yep.
She's gone. We've gotten a lot closer since Ray Ray said she was going to be with us, but it seems like she's reluctant to be with us somewhere here, somewhere in her own head. I don't know what to do with this line. I don't know what to do with this line. I look at this line and I'm like, what the fuck were you going for?
Maybe deep inside?
Yeah, let's just say that.
Hmm.
God. Still, where does Mikaru want to do this? Let's think better, buddy. My guy, my absolute little idiot baby. Go to her room.
Right. Everyone noticed what Mikaru was trying to say?
Yes. Now Ray is more dependent, so let's follow Ray's words. Aye. Then we have to go to that newly opened library room.
Aye. I'll go around and investigate. Let's behave as Mikaru suggested.
Yeah, but something bothers me a little.
What's wrong, Akane?
No, it's just I'm worried about Kinjo and Mikako.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing, but now that the first aid has been done, we have no choice but to wait for them to recover.
That's true for Kurokawa, but is Kinjo not awake? A day has already passed.
Yep, that's for granted. If Kinjo was awake, he would have been severely punished because he didn't come out when introducing Kisaragi.
Monokuma.
Go away! We never called you!
Whoa, easy. I just came to answer Maida anyway. One more thing about Kinjo. I haven't seen any signs of him waking up or any shocks at all.
Are we not gonna have Kinjo for a whole chapter?
Are they just gonna drop him in chapter 6 like... Man.
Are we not going to have Kinjo for a whole chapter? Like, are we going to get to a trial and he's not going to be there?
That would
Mans is not woken up.
Man, wake up, Kinjo. Get your ass out of here.
God, this dumbass.
He's gone.
Still, after listening to Monokuma, it makes sense. If Kinjo had been awake, he would have heard Monokuma's call and came to the gym. Because if we don't follow his rules, we get punished.
That's more worrying, though. Kinjo, I haven't seen any signs of him waking up.
Does he need a true love's first kiss?
Might I get to work?
I mean, what's gonna wake him? God damn it.
Honestly, when he was in the ballroom and then waking up to see stuff like this, I'd rather want him to be out for the count. I don't want to see him.
Understandable, but then we have less people to bully, so we need him.
Yeah, he's like our punching bag. He's our verbal punching bag.
Yes.
God, I need to see more BS of like either he fucks his hair up again or he says something else stupid. I like bullying him. Come on.
Yes. You cannot deprive us of our best bully target. Man.
Don't.
No, I believe that if you wear Kinjo, you will surely realize your wrong values and wake up. You are so optimistic.
He's extremely optimistic, yeah.
I mean, there is a chance that he could. Maybe he really does get a redemption arc, who knows? Or he might just wake up worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And it's best to join forces with Kinjo and get out of here, right?
I was just joking.
Nah, Teria, you are valid.
Love him.
We just don't agree.
Yeah, there's that. Alright, then let's move. Can we get out of mechanic jail, please? I swear
Yes.
to God.
Please, I would like to save. Mikado realized something due to the newly discovered clues on the 5th floor. Thanks to the surveillance cameras, it was hard to talk right now, so for now let's spend time investigating as usual until Mikado calls us. Oh, come to think of it. I also decided to talk to Kisaragi as well. Before we investigate, I should properly talk to him. We can communicate well, but I think he's still in the dormitories. Let's find him. Thank you.
I mean, that's fine. We need to. You can't tell me that the free time music is playing and we're not saving. No, this has to be a glitch. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. I'm asking Zeffy what the fuck is going on here.
I sure am. Oh, probably because there's another cutscene.
Okay, I'll wait.
Oh, I found Kisaragi. Kisaragi, hey.
Mikakos.
Hiding behind a plant. What? The person with Kisaragi is Kurokawa. She was awake, but what's with this atmosphere? Yamato.
Oh, hello.
Why is Yamato why is like that?
Hey, I guess I'm sick because I'm not feeling well. And you seem to be in the same status as I am. Your face turned blue and you're getting discolored.
How did this happen? Why?
I see. You got many things to say there. You're also very excited too. You want to hear my adventure story? You want to hear me out then? But I refuse. I can't tell you.
I think he doesn't remember her.
I think that he's not able to say what he means. Obviously, he's not like this. If she's reacting to him like this, there's something wrong with him. Because she's used to something else regarding him.
Yeah.
So that's evidence enough that he's off in some way.
Yamato-kun, until now, you were far away.
I don't know what you're saying. Straight up, speak. Fuck. No. I don't know what you're saying. Straight up, speak clearly.
I want to say Yamato to you. Yeah. Ow. Yamato. That's rough. What? Kurokawa? She's still in bad shape, but Kurokawa's attitude towards Kisaragi is awfully strange. It seems like some kind of relationship. But why am I hiding and eavesdropping? The purpose here was to talk to Kisaragi in the first place. Hey, Kisaragi. He's angry again.
You.
We met for a while in the morning, but I'm Yuki Maeda. Hey, I would like to talk to you.
Ida?
It's this again. I haven't done anything, but Kisaragi stared at me fiercely. When I saw him talking with Kurokawa, he seemed normal enough. It seems like I'm the exception. So why? Hey, take it easy. Why do you look so angry? I just want to greet you.
You want to say hello?
Well, that's right. Please don't be angry all the time. I didn't do anything. It's a little sad to be the target of anger.
Yuki, Maida, aren't you a bad person?
Uh-oh. Huh? Why am I a bad person? Well, it's kind of weird to call yourself good, but I'm not a bad person either.
Are you really a good person?
Bad, good. If we pick one, personally, I think I'm nice.
Good. Oh, a change of heart. Right as light? More than previously. You say you're good?
Monokuma said that Kisaragi had a problem with his mind. Although the conversation is difficult to comprehend, it doesn't seem impossible. And Kisaragi seemed to have loosened up the boundaries, and it seems he would listen to me. Yeah, if I had done anything wrong, please tell me for sure. Don't be angry for no reason. I'll fix it somehow.
You, Yuki Maeda. No fault. That's it. Is it like that? I misunderstood.
Misunderstanding. I heard that Kisaragi was a student who just entered in Hopspeak Academy as the ultimate inventor. So you're a classmate? I said my greetings to you once. Well, they said you had a little problem in your mind, but since you are my friend, tell me if there's anything difficult. If I can, I will help you. And I would like to talk to the others too. I would like you to talk to the others too, although there were more of us who are already gone.
I see. Alright. Oh, good. Understood. Got it.
He was angry at first for no reason, so I thought it would be difficult to get close to each other, but it seems to have been a minor misunderstanding. It's still a bit complicated to talk, but Mikado says that Kisaragi is the most likely candidate to be the mastermind, but I don't feel that way as a result by talking directly. Like, there's no way he could, like, make Monokuma talk like that, I think. I don't see it, at least.
I don't think it's him.
Hmm.
He is the ultimate inventor, but I think even the title alone is supposed to be like a red herring. Because I don't think it's him.
Hmm. Maybe it's because of the brain damage, or maybe he's acting like a innocent person. Either way, until Mikaru calls us, we have to keep investigating. For now, I think it should be okay to know more about Kisaragi. Yee, you are now able to spend free time at events. For the love
Please,
of God,
God.
plus. Come to think of it, this was originally a wall with nothing in it. And then one day, this became Kisaragi's private room. Well, maybe it was Monokuma's doing. It's not surprising that a new student arrives and you construct enough to make a new room. I'm not surprised anymore. Well then, let's move.
Can we?
No.
We? No, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Are you serious? But they just prompted free time events. What do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe
Wait.
it's a.
It has to be a bug. If it's, I'm gonna ask.
Oh, I can. I can walk fast this way.
Oh my god, this is totally a bug. This is totally a bug. Oh my god.
If I press F.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
I am trying out.
It also did like a counter in the.
Hmm. Oh, I can see the
In the s-
FPS.
What's happening? Okay, so wait. I'm.
We are back.
We're back and we realized the fucking problem.
Yes.
So we got so excited that we didn't use the bypass, and we sort of had to fast forward to get to where we are. Yeah, we had to speed demon it. Anyway, now that we're back, let's bug Yamato.
Yes.
Break! Take off! Wing! Sky is loud! Yuki's approaching me! Oh, it's touching.
Yes.
Oh, you want to play? Then I'll be your opponent! Is that it? Playing? I'll do that. I don't know if this part's translated, but we'll see.
Oh, it is. Hello?
I think the itch page had something like question marks. Free time events are translated in chapter 5, but I don't know how many.
That's good.
I somehow had a conversation with Kisaragi who was difficult to understand. I think my relationship with him has improved a little. Yes, let's...
We should be able to give him anything. Probably just the regular stuff to be safe, because I don't know how he'll react to the special things.
Maybe just the handbook?
Sure.
Whoa, a gift? For me? This gift is very nice. It looks very cool. And I'm in a good mood. Yo!
Thank God, I think he liked it.
Maida! Maida! Strange name! Yuki Maida.
It's not that strange, it's quite ordinary. But more importantly, Kisaragi, I want to ask you something.
Ask? Oh, hit me with anything, bro!
Kisaragi, where are you from? Monokuma said you're a transfer student, but the school is completely disconnected from the outside world. Do you know about the current situation at all? Monokuma is a terrible criminal. He kidnapped and forced us to kill each other. My guy, that's a lot to ask at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Eh?
Feels like we're in an amusement park. I feel like I'm dreaming. My room is really cool, right? Right?
What the? It seems like Kisaragi was serious there for a moment. Was I just imagining things?
Yuji Maida. Yuko? Was it? Huh. Should it be like that? Completely unconventional? Yeah!
What? My name is Yuki. More importantly, I have no idea what you're talking about. So, calm down and say it slowly.
Uro or Shiro? I wonder if it's... Come to think of it. Yes, that girl. I'm curious about the status of that student.
An outburst. I had no idea what he was saying, but if I lead the conversation, simple communication like a yes or no might be possible, but it's impossible for anything more. Thinking of Mikako. Wait, do you know Mikako Kurukawa? She seemed to know you.
Oh, Mikako. Of course I know. About her? I seem to be. However, remember much? I don't seem to.
Okay. What were you saying about Mikako? Is that you know her, but you don't remember much?
No! That's not it! That's not it! Something more would be different! It's a problem. Ugh.
Ah, you also have the... You also get your brain fried. I see. Kisaragi? What is it?
Thing like rubbing in your head, stinging, excruciating, violent pain, or physical condition decline. Can it get better?
You have a headache? Similar to Mikako?
Kurukawa! Does not matter? Don't put words in my mouth. The moment you put it in your mouth, the intensity of the pain comes like waves.
Okay.
Ugh, it hurts. Yamato is going to spend some time lying down and spend a break in bed.
Kisaragi complained about his headache and returned to his room. Kisaragi seems to have some kind of connection to Mikako. They complain about similar headaches. I can't deny that something is suspicious about it. Yee.
Yeah.
It's getting late. I decided to return to my room. Phew, it's evening already. Another day goes by like this. It was just yesterday when our spirits rised up, and it was yesterday when Haruhiko and Satsuki died. It's only been a single day, but it felt like a long time ago. We have to get out of here. For my dead friends. I think someone's calling you. Ah, one moment. Mikaru. Come to my room a little later once the nighttime announcement goes off. Oh, you're here to call me. Okay. She goes right back without adding anything else. Probably because we're conscious of the camera. There's nothing to lose, at least by following Mikaru's words. Yep. Nighttime.
Nighttime announcement. It's gathered, Ray.
Yeah, I'll say it again and again, but we can't stay for long, so you better open your ears and listen carefully, as I will only talk about what is absolutely necessary and leave swiftly. Didn't you say you found out something when we reported the investigation? If we look at what we couldn't say in the dining room, is it so important that it's dangerous if the Mastermind hears it?
Did you find out who the Mastermind is?
No, it's nothing like that.
Ray, then why? You seemed to be taken by surprise back then.
Jeez, it's a little serious that you guys haven't caught on. Mikaru? Just listen for a moment. There are two things I found out. Of course, I'm not sure of this. It's just my guess anyway, but the chances are high on this. First, do you all remember what I said this morning?
What do you mean?
A significant amount of time has passed since we entered Hope's-Peak Academy, and we don't remember it. You mean this hypothesis?
Ah, I remember. I thought Ray-chan was trying to drive Mikako away.
Of course I had that intention. Before I could explain it properly, Monokuma brought that transfer stone and it ended abruptly. Now we lost our memories. Maybe this isn't a hypothesis.
No way! Even so, the fact that all 15 of us had amnesia is such an absurd story, right?
Shut up and listen first. I'll
Yes.
explain it methodically. As Mikado said that, she took a piece of paper out of her pocket. This paper is... It's a summary of the questions I've been asking since we've been here. Nothing special.
So far, thoroughly, yeah. Unlike us, you're very thoughtful.
She's a professor.
Yes. First, it was right after Kinji Uhara's execution ended when I began to suspect about amnesia. Most likely when Maeda and I last spoke about this topic. Oh, you mean when the fourth floor just opened? I'm sorry, but even up to that time, I thought Mikaru was testing me again, and I couldn't really believe it. It was around that time, but as more and more fitting clues kept coming out, I changed my mind. Remembering what I talked about with Maeda back then? Remember the video Monokuma showed us right before Uhara was executed? The children.
The dead children in the streets.
For a second I thought of the motive video and was like, did they show you something else?
Horrible video of the children's corpses? Is that the one you're talking about?
It's not enough to kill a person. It's not enough to leave them rotten. How much crueler is Monokuma?
Yes, they were decayed. That's where I first got my doubts. Ohara said that after we fainted, he woke up earlier than us and met face to face with Monokuma. At that time, the priest identified the children being hostage by Monokuma and even spoke to those kids directly. This was the day of the entrance ceremony. It must have been about 2 weeks before Uhara was executed. I mean, even if the children were killed right after talking to Uhara, if it's only been 2 weeks since they died, then there's a problem. Is it possible for a person to rot so fast and turn into a skeleton in only 2 weeks?
A test question? I don't know.
Would be difficult.
Yeah.
I can't think straight.
Same goes for me. If we look at it as O and X, is it X?
I can't be sure since it was filmed, but if I'm right, the answer becomes impossible. If it wasn't artificially tampered with or in a really specific environment, then naturally, at this time, the things I have been wondering about. We found a notice in the library that Hope's Academy was due to be closed, and a group photo of us that made us in the art room. Connecting these two, it was the first time that I thought of the possibility of amnesia.
Unbelievable. But then what next?
Well, I wasn't sure at the time, so I kept it as a hypothesis. But when I heard Satsuki's last words yesterday, I started thinking about it again. Oh, maybe... You mean the picture Haru discovered, mentioned by Satsuki? That's right. It is really only speculation, but if we already met before, wouldn't our bodies react first, even if we don't remember? Like looking at a picture of your lover?
You mean, before we lost our memories, Kabashikawa and Satsuki were lovers?
Don't take us seriously, because this is all just a guess at this stage. The reason I think this way is because it's almost impossible to give up your life for the sake of someone you just met here, no matter how good or natural their relationship were. Thinking about that picture, Haruhiko's head vaguely recognized his old memories. Of course, that doesn't mean I'm looking down at the spirit of sacrifice between the two.
Something is weird. I didn't expect such a romantic comment coming from Mikaru. You have made a grave error saying this out loud.
Yes. She's gonna clap back. It's not like that, you idiot. This is something that needs to be scientifically explained. In the case of the momentary amnesia, by showing clues such as the flashbacks of old memories or hypnosis.
Hey, okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Calm down and explain it again, please.
Anyways, it was something like that. Another clue was the newspaper article that Maeda and Tara found this morning.
You mean, the newspaper clippings with the date in the future?
Indeed. It's the future from our point of view. However, if we substitute it from amnesia here, can we still see it as being from the future? Wait, if it's been quite some time since we entered Hope's Peak, if it's been months, not just 3 weeks only, the date of the newspaper is usually when the new semester begins. If it becomes the past, it's a newspaper that has been there for a while.
No, but can you look at the newspaper's content recklessly pushing the amnesia theory? Yes, my guy.
Yes.
Are you saying this absurd thing really happened? Anyone can tell it's a manipulation. No. I love you, Teria, but you are very, very dumb, and I am not taking your word for this.
I would rather give more credit for this impossible thing, though.
How?
Think about it, is there anything that has not happened since we gathered here? In the beginning, our situation itself became dangerous from the get-go. I can't object to it. And was it the biggest and most desperate event in human history? I've read the article, slowly, and it's not exaggerating to say that the world has been destroyed.
The world has been destroyed? Impossible!
No, it is not way over. No, it's not way over the end of the world. I think it's at least enough to cause the collapse of the human society itself.
Wait, there's no difference. There's a difference, my guy.
Yep.
One involves people still existing, and the other involves everyone being dead.
Yep.
I think what she's saying is people still exist, but things are for nuts. No, even if I think carefully, it's beyond the realm of speculation. This is a joke. The world coming to an end? That literally can't happen.
I mean, who knows?
I feel bad for him, but no.
You brainless fool. That's just your own opinion. The world we live isn't as perfect as we might think. No one knows when it will suddenly collapse for certainty. In the end, the Earth has already experienced hundreds of crises that could lead to a nuclear war. The fact that society is being maintained like this is fortunate enough to surpass the first place in a lottery.
Even so, if that's true, if the real world is doomed, then I don't see a reason to leave this school anymore. How are we supposed to live on when you tell me that the world is just gone?
Teria.
He has a point in a really morbid way, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to be stuck here. I'd want to go figure something else out.
I mean, I probably would stay for a while or make this some kind of base, but I certainly wouldn't, like, always stay there.
Yeah.
Don't be so discouraged. As I keep saying, this is all but a guess at this point, but also one with a very high probability. The biggest and most desperate event in human history. Actually, we may already know what is supposed to be the aftermath of this.
What are you talking about?
The motive Mudokuma showed us before Maki died. I don't know if each of you have seen it, but if the article on this newspaper is true, wouldn't it also explain the video? It can't be. If that video, if it's true, then my family is already... No one like that.
No one like that.
Actually, Hatano's and Higa's words just added more credibility. The FIFA headquarters was attacked, the land being destroyed so much that it was impossible to run anymore. Attack on FIFA. Wouldn't this match what this article says? To sum it all up, after entering Hope's Peak Academy and spending a normal school life, the biggest, most desperate event in human history occurred. Somehow we survived, with our memories removed by someone, and then we suspected each other in a place we didn't even recognize. That is what happened.
The thing! I can't believe it! But after listening to Ray, I wonder if it's alright to say that everything was true.
Then the article said that Hope's Peak Academy was the epicenter of the incident. We, who are students of this academy, have nothing to do with it all.
But then why? Why us? Why are we the only ones in Hope's Peak Academy?
Good question.
Excellent question. What happened to the other students? Are we really the only ones alive like this?
Don't get angry at me, you fool, because this isn't confirmed yet. Well, I don't know the details, but I can think of one reason why we are in this predicament. Of the 15 of us, no, isn't it because the Mastermind is among the 16?
Oh, that's the idea. Are you still doubting Mikako and Kisaragi?
I think she's doubting everyone now.
Yeah. No, I must say it's hard for me to try to predict who the Mastermind would be.
Yeah. Especially, well, here's the thing. It's gonna be hard anyway, because based on what she's saying, everyone lost their memories.
Hmm.
Everyone. And there is no way that they would not have found out the Mastermind if they hadn't erased their own memories too.
Makes me think that Yuki is the Mastermind.
Huh. Alright.
No, I don't know about that.
Huh? Then what other option is there? In the morning, you were suspicious of Kurakawa and Kisaragi. If it's not that, other than those two, then who the heck is it?
Don't make a fuss and listen first. This is not yet certain, let alone conjecture. This is just my own imagination. We just said that our memories have been erased, right? But what if the Mastermind is in the same state? Same thoughts. What do
Same
you
brain
mean?
cell.
Yep. What do you mean, Mikaru? Are you saying the Mastermind erased their own memory? Only if. It's just one possibility, but if that really were to be true, then it won't matter who the Mastermind is. It could be anyone. It could be Maeda, it could be Taira, it could be Otori. Or maybe it's me who's saying this. I don't want to approach this line of thinking, but it's not good to lie in a partnership, so I'll be honest with you, I'm afraid. If this hypothesis were to be true, and if I were the Mastermind, the more I dig, the more I'll deny my own existence. The more they will deny their existence. Mikado, for the first time we met, trembled slightly and showed her own weakness. Self-denial of her own existence. It would be a self-destruction for Mikado who values perfection the most.
Ray,
I'm sorry. I said that I could come along if we're trying to catch the Mastermind, but suddenly it ended up like this. After the hypothesis of the amnesia, I came up with this theory while thinking about the Mastermind. Since then, I've gotten a terrible chill on my spine and became mentally exhausted. This appearance doesn't fit me at all. Not to me. So, forget about that for now.
Mekaru, you're human too. I'd be afraid of myself too if I had that feeling.
Stupid. I just paused for a moment to tell you to forget it. Our goals still don't change, so I know. Mikado shouted in embarrassment. It took just a moment to catch her breath, then looked down at the paper and spoke again. It's just one of numerous cases. I think it's unlikely, so let's put this issue aside for now. Wait, you've been suspicious of Kurokawa and Kisaragi all this time, so why did it make you think suddenly about this? To be honest, it was simply processed by elimination that made me adopt them. I felt like there was something unconventional about the two being the Mastermind. What if that pretentious appearance is not the acting of the Mastermind? What if you really don't know if you are yourself the Mastermind? What if you don't know your true self?
if that's the case, then we don't even realize that we could be the masterminds. If that's true, it's impossible to know the mastermind's true nature.
No, who is controlling Monokuma then? Yes, but it's unlikely to do that. If you erase your own memory in the first place, even as the Mastermind, it will be impossible to do any follow-up. There would be no plan or anything at all. They would had only one chance. If the Mastermind is someone who's good at acting, then even those with their unpretentious appearances would be acting as well. They would be considered a huge smokescreen for all we know. Hey, if that's the case, wouldn't it be more realistic to conclude that there's no Mastermind among us? Kurokawa is suspicious, and we suspect him because of Kisaragi's existence. Conversely, there's no guarantee that the Mastermind is always among us. Dude. If we are all victims and an unidentified third party is the Mastermind, then Mikado's doubts would be resolved. If in the beginning the Mastermind was the cause of the biggest, most desperate event in human history, it would mean that one of us committed such world-class terrorism. Well, I honestly agree with that. It doesn't make sense for one high school student to change the world.
Looks at Junko.
Yes. But, if I were to put your words backwards, there's no guarantee that the Mastermind in a situation will be the same person as the Mastermind who caused this human history. Right, but that's...
No, I agree with Maida. It is hard to believe that there is a Mastermind among us,
Jesus.
no matter what we've faced.
Zephy, are you just slipping these in here now? Because they're coming in spades.
A 3-hit combo is that.
Yeah.
And there's the issue of controlling Monokuma, too.
Just as Maeda said, there's no guarantee. Fine. I'm just thinking of every possible outcome. Always try to think that there's a Mastermind mixed in with us.
To be honest, everything we said so far is so vague that it doesn't feel real at all. But...
Right. Even if it's true in theory, artificially erasing the memories of all of us, such a thing, is practically impossible.
Not entirely unreasonable. When you think about the Kisaragi Foundation's scientific power...
He answered what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say was, we have the ultimate inventor here. We have 4 signs, technically 6 because of the 3 portraits in that office, of the Kisaragi's presence here. This could be a repurposed facility. What if we're, like, in the middle of some experiment?
That could
like
be
some
it.
sort of weird, twisted social experiment. I have no idea, obviously, but, like, they keep pointing loudly at the Kisaragi Foundation. And if they're that scientifically advanced, I feel like memory erasure is no issue here. But things could come with side effects, so maybe it's not perfected.
Maybe that's... I'm still curious about
What do you think?
I'm curious about the special case then with Kurokawa and Kisaragi. Because they clearly have some very negative side effects they are suffering from.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking, is that it's because of the side effects.
But are they the only ones, or are they the only ones who actually experience these side effects because they see things they shouldn't remember? But
I think it's more that. I think part of the reason they're having worse side effects that are more noticeable and whatever is maybe they did something to make sure that they didn't lose all of their memory. So that they could keep some knowledge about what the fuck is going on. But then that makes them super suspicious in a different regard, like that they knew this was going to happen. They might even know who the Mastermind is, but not be able to say it because of said side effects or whatever. And it would make sense because Monokuma keeps taunting both of them. Or, like, showing them off as a prize and whatever else.
It's also interesting that Kisaragi of everyone is also suffering, especially under it.
Well, considering from what we noticed between Kurokawa and Kisaragi, they knew each other.
Yep.
And they seem to have been close.
Though if someone from the Kisaragi Foundation did the whole memory erasure thing, then they... Why tested on Kisaragi of all people, or was he the one who offered himself up as a test subject?
Oh, I think the presence of Kisaragi himself is pretty important. Because if we go on the theory that this is a repurposed lab, he would know where it is. Because he's the third president. He could have brought everyone there. Like, maybe as a form of protection because of the chaos that's happening outside or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And something could have gone wrong. Where, like, the intent was to bring them here to protect them, but something happened before making it to the point where he could.
Yeah.
And maybe there was no intent for memory erasure at first, but someone else could have figured out about the device, or whatever the fuck, like however they're doing this. And maybe as a failsafe in case something happened, Yamato was only thinking of Kurakawa and him to keep some memories, in case something were to happen, because he knows what's here. And they're closer out of everyone else in this group. This is a bunch of theory reaching, but I'm like, if I take the context of what I know about how close Kisaragi and Yamato and Kurakawa are, then him looking after her in that sense makes sense. But that must be some severe side effects to make it to where he barely reacts to her, like, falling down and almost dying.
I guess we'll see.
What is it?
Didn't I say that I found out 2 things? One thing was about the amnesia we just spoke about. And the other one is information about the Kisaragi Foundation. A little while ago you said something about the scientific power of the Kisaragi Foundation. I literally said it right. It is no exaggeration to say that the Kisaragi Foundation is already half a century ahead of the cutting-edge science. There are rumors that they are actually providing manpower to the US side, although they are not from a reliable source.
The Kisaragi Foundation can manipulate a human's memories?
It wouldn't be impossible. It's one of the reasons why I initially thought that the Mastermind was among us, is that there really is a need for someone to control Monokuma. Man. Because so far, it has moved on its own.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Monokuma might not be being controlled by a person. There is technology in this facility where theoretically you could build something and make sure it moves on its own. And also, if we take the context from the other DR games, especially Ultra Despair Girls, those Monokuma move on their own.
That's right, though. Back and forth conversation would be difficult still. That would need an AI. A strong, rather good AI.
It would need one that is, like, intelligent enough to converse and taunt and adapt to the situations that are... It would need an alter ego.
Yeah, or it has so insane programming that every single possible situation was already planned out in front. Before everything happened.
There's that. But also, like, this is DR.
Yep.
So alter egos could still come up.
That's
even though
right.
this is a fan game. I don't know, like, it would be interesting if there was an alter ego based off of the the idea in the foundation that Monokuma is, and then it grew past that. But that would be so tricky to program. Because Monokuma's not a real person. Okay, this is nuts.
What Monokuma did? Actually, it's not a dream to create a Monokuma-type artificial intelligence robot with the skills of the Kisaragi Foundation. The humanoid theory has already been completed. Okay.
So we are going into the realm of artificial intelligence, at least.
Yep.
That's incredible! But, Mekaru, you didn't treat Monokuma as an artificial intelligence. when they were back then, when they were here back then.
At the time, I didn't know that the Kisaragi Foundation was deeply involved. But this hypothesis is also absurd, because the level of AI has already reached the level of a human being.
Kisaragi Foundation, what is it? Why is the Kisaragi Foundation involved with Hope's Peak Academy?
Certainly, that is the most important question, and the Kisaragi Foundation's mark was on the 5th floor collection room and in the ballroom. About that, listen carefully to what I have to say from now on, because it will be very shocking. Or?
Why did you lower your tone?
It's about what I found out about the Kisaragi Foundation. That is... Of course.
Ah, you fucker. Of course he comes in during such important information.
Yep.
You little bastard.
Huh? What are you guys doing in Mikaru's room? Ah! Monokuma! Seriously! Stop appearing out of nowhere!
What do you mean by out of nowhere? More than that, I can't see in the surveillance camera again. What's wrong with this? Wasn't it always like that?
Leave it. Did Monokuma catch a strange thing not once but twice now?
Hey, it's nighttime already, and you don't even sleep in Mikaru's room. You guys, I won't hesitate.
What? We haven't done anything bad!
Isn't it a strange thing in here that there's 2 males and 2 females? You absolute shithead!
Really? Really, Monokuma?
I knew he'd go this direction again at some point, because he's already shown that he can be a perverted bastard. He's shown it multiple times, and I'm like, when are you going to make another orgy joke? When are you gonna do it? Here it is! Fucking bastard bitch. I'm so tired of him.
But Monokuma, Teruya doesn't get any action, you know? Of course.
What?
Of course, it's Akane who reacts to that.
I mean, she's got the biggest fucking crush on Yuki, of course she... Two different sides of the spectrum! Akane, Mikaru.
Hey, fuck off.
Ah! It was a joke! Seriously! The surveillance camera doesn't seem to work, so I'm just here to... check it out!
Why are you checking with us that your management is poor? What do you know about surveillance cameras? We're not even going to sleep, we're just gathering to chat here, so hurry up and get out.
Is it really poor management?
In my vivid mind, I think that you must have done something to the camera.
Oh no.
You know, right? If that is true, you're guilty of damaging the device.
Are you bugging out? What? Monokuma? Monokuma, who was using a usually strange way to speak, caused a slightly different mood than usual and then suddenly stopped as if he died.
What? It stopped speaking.
Monokuma? What are you doing?
Hey, hold on. This is somehow similar to back then. When? When Urahara's execution was over, Mikako Kurukawa went down the secret stairs saying that Monokuma stopped.
Huh? Does that mean the school is still closed?
What's wrong with it? It's not even a computer before crashing.
It might be something like that.
Oh, it's back. The disinterest. Terrier's line. Fuck, that was good.
What? My body movements are getting dull. Oh no. It's not the movements that's dull. It can't be. This is not at all move. My body doesn't move. 11 seconds have passed. It seems that there is enough time to move.
What are you saying?
Not.
What are you doing, Monokuma?
Wait, the system is a little bit. The camera isn't the problem now. Ugh. I'm gonna go do a quick checkup now.
Bye.
He's gone. What was that? Leave it alone, because we can't afford to worry about Monokuma. Also, I would rather call it off for today.
But we haven't heard the second fact that Ray had found yet.
I'll tell you about that tomorrow. As you may have seen before, Monokuma is slowly starting to notice the anomalies in my room. I'll come up with another measure soon. So go back for now. Let's do as Mikado suggests, guys. It's already late anyway, so we'll have to go to bed early for tomorrow.
Honestly, I don't think I'll be able to sleep much because of the story about my current memory loss. Well, I'll be going now.
Valid. Go, get to bed, and sleep. The switch is off now.
Right. But why a teddy bear?
Stop worrying and go to sleep already.
It's just like, don't question my interests.
Yep. And then we decided to go to bed at Mikado's proposal. Let's go back to my room. I can save!
Save! Yay!
Alright, then I think we should also call it quits for now.
Yeah.
Next time we guess we'll see how things continue. Probably with more free time.
Yeah.
So until then, goodbye.
Bye.